So we're back here on the Duncan Duo Real Estate Show, and I saw an article from Zillow this week that talked about staging your house like a pro. And you know, I thought it was imperative to talk to Scott with DR Horton about this because, you know, obviously you guys being in the business as long as you have and being, you know, America's, you know, largest home builder, it makes sense for you guys to spend money investing in staging in your model homes. Because you've seen it, you got statistics, you got data to back up why you should do it.
Yeah, it absolutely positively makes a difference in terms of our creating a desirability for that floor plan. So all of our models, whether we do one or two in a community, they're going to be staged. And then in some instances, we'll take some of the homes that aren't even the models and do some staging as well for the newer floor plans because people you know, can't always visualize, well, how's the furniture going to lay out in this room and how's this going to look? And sometimes they think a space is going to be too small when in fact you stage and you show, actually, no, this does work. And they think something has to be bigger than it needs, the room needs to be bigger than it needs to be for it to work functionally in their life, and it doesn't, and that staging can help in that area.
And I think, you know, the message that I would tell home sellers out there thinking about selling your home is if you guys sell, you know, thousands of homes a year, and we're going to sell, you know, over 1,000 this year, and you know, our experience tells us that, you know, it's something that needs to be done. You know, when I sell one of my own properties, either a rental that I own or a home that we're rehabbing and flipping, you know, I'm having it staged. You know, there's no question I'm going to do that because people often don't have the vision to see what can be there. And staging is very affordable. I think people are intimidated by it, but the return on investment, you know, by hiring a good stager and doing a good job on staging is off the charts good. It creates a disparity between you and the competition. It helps set the tone for buyers. And I think it's just a natural course of action for sellers to do things to make their home more competitive and get a better price. You know, if you want a bidding war, if you want a better price, it's something that can go a long way towards that. And Roberto, having shown homes to buyers, you know, as a specialist on our team, you know, what's the general, you know, what's the take from a buyer when you show them a staged home versus a, you know, a home with their NASCAR collection on
yeah, it's like
piano?
night and day difference when somebody walks into a house and it's not professionally staged. It just has the things that from people that live there, you know, they see the pictures of a different another family, you know, and it's hard for them to visualize themselves in that house. Now, if you get a stager, it's all neutral, it looks beautiful, and they can walk in and say, oh, so I can actually put the dining room table here. For some reason, people walk in houses and they cannot figure out where to put the dining room table. That's you know, they're like, I cannot see, like, where would I put the table and where would I put this? So when you have the stage, it's like giving you a cheat sheet on a test. Like, here's what you're going to do, just buy it, and then, I mean, sometimes you could probably buy the stage.
There's a lot of times where they will include it, or you can pay extra for it if you really like it. And I think that the other thing that staging, I think, does is it makes the home more memorable. People today, they don't look at as many homes as they used to, you know, but there's still some that look at a lot, but they certainly do a lot more on technology today. And staging makes the photos look better. It just makes the home more memorable. And I'm a firm believer that the longer someone stays in a home, the greater the chance of them buying it. They're falling in love with it. It's kind of like, you know, hanging out on your first date with your future wife. You know, if the date's 30 minutes long, if it's several hours long, you know. Now, no one's going to stay in the home several hours, right? But just you know, hypothetically, you know, the rational belief is that the longer you can get them in that house, the more relaxed they are, the more likely they are to sit on the couch. If the house is dingy or not clean and the couch isn't clean or it doesn't look clean, they're not going to sit on the couch and relax and take their time in the home. The longer you keep them in there, the better chances are they're going to go, oh, I really like this. Oh, look at this over here. And there's all kinds of those things that can happen with a staged home. And I think, again, if you know, if someone has too much personal stuff in it, and I think it's certainly, it's not as if you have to eliminate any of your own personal taste. You know, you just have to stay relatively neutral with it. You know, if you've got a whole wall of family photos, or, you know, like I said, the NASCAR collection, or even a heavy sports collection of one specific team. Imagine, like, if somebody loves one team but hates your team, and then they see a whole room dedicated to that team, it's going to be a turnoff for them, you know. So I think you have to do what you can to eliminate any you know, emotional objections a customer could have. I also think it's important to, you know, safeguard your belongings. I mean, it's not as if we've had, situations where, people's stuff has been stolen, but you don't want to tempt it. You don't want to leave out some really valuable autographed baseball that somebody could pocket or, something like that. So I think it's really important to neutralize things, to declutter. Another one that I see, and we've seen some horror stories on our private page. We share photos of other listings from the MLS, and we've seen rooms that were packed to the walls with dolls, which was really scary, right? So imagine you're a buyer, right? And you're walking into this house and you're so excited to go on this journey of home ownership, and you walk in and it feels like 57 Chuckies are staring at you. I mean, literally, that's what the photo. I mean, there's just dolls packed to the. I mean, that's gonna freak people out. That's not something that's normal that people normally see in a bedroom, and we've seen the cluttered houses too that are just, the people are pack rats. There's just knickknacks everywhere. Look, if you're gonna sell your home, just start packing now. Plan on moving. That's why you put the sign out in the yard. That's why, if we're listing it, we're selling it. So, start packing now.
Clutter's a killer.
Clutter is such a killer. I mean, it is. You can have a gorgeous house, and if it's just stacked to the gills with boxes, forget about it.
The prospect won't see past the clutter.
No,
they won't see the house. They won't see the beauty in the floor plan and the bedrooms. They'll just see the clutter, and you got to make that home as neutral as possible. I think the thing that you mentioned earlier, the key is when you're doing the staging, it absolutely does work, and you can get a return on your investment. But the key is you got to find a good stager who has the eye. Who has the eye and has the and just like homes can get dated very quickly, furniture can get dated very quickly.
Agree. And I've seen we've actually had customers that said, what, I don't want to pay for the staging, I want to do it myself. And so they watch all the HGTV channels and they do all this, and we've had some do a pretty good job, and then we've had others where it's like, oh goodness, this looks like maybe your taste. But this is, probably, it's been scary. So it's something to where you at least need a consultation with a stager. Even if you don't want to pay for it and you want to do some of it yourself, you at least need another set of eyes that can because it's your stuff, so you don't recognize it.
I've been doing this for 15 years, and every once in a while I think I'm pretty good at this, and I'll have some thoughts and ideas, and there's a company we work with, and her name's Karen. She's awesome, and she'll look at me, she's like, I'm not so sure, Scott, and I always default to her way, and her judgment, and it always looks better.
Yeah, and
I think I'm good, I'm really good.
and I would tell you, again, we've had customers that have done it and done okay, which that's better than nothing, but it's just, you get what you pay for. Hiring a pro is going to give you better advice and better options.
It's an art, staging is an art. You should definitely hire a professional. If you go and pick up a Homes magazine and you look through it, the professional did that. I'm not saying that your furniture is not.
And the good ones, they have access to get some of that furniture that looks like $1 million and makes your home look great, but you don't have to spend $1 million, right? Versus trying to do it yourself and trying to do it maybe a little bit on the cheap and getting that same look. So no, a good stager absolutely can help you sell your home faster and get you a return on that investment.